Hello everybody, welcome to part 13 in my Richard Laymon horror novel series. Today I'm going to be talking about Midnight's Lair from 1998. This is one of only two books that Richard Laymon ever published under the pseudonym of Richard Kelly. And the other book is called Dark Mountain. And for the life of me, I've no idea why he published it under a pseudonym, because it's really no different to his other work. And Richard Kelly is the name of his daughter, at the time his teenage daughter. So if he was trying to, if for some reason he felt these were more personal books to her and he wanted to dedicate them to her in this way, well, that would be pretty disturbing, to be honest, because some of the scenes in this are not the kind of thing that I think a father would want to dedicate to his teenage daughter. But for whatever reason, this was published under the pseudonym of Richard Kelly, firstly. Let me get on with the review then. This will probably be a shorter one than usual because there's not a great deal that needs to be said about this one. The cover art is excellent by Steve Crisp. 300 pages, a slim volume, and here is the synopsis. It says, Mordoc's Cave is one of the wonders of the world, a place where thousands of sightseers every year take an awe-inspiring boat trip on a lake deep beneath the Earth's surface and marvel at nature's handiwork. But the darkness is also the home of things nature never intended, things violent, bestial, and obscenely evil. And when a sudden power failure traps a group of tourists underground, the unnatural creatures who dwell there emerge from the depths. That synopsis does a very good job of telling you what the book is, what's going to happen in the book. There's not a great deal I can add to it. There's two boats full of tourists go underground in these caves. There's a power cut which traps them down there, and the majority of the action concerns these people trying to get back to the surface, which involves, one way or another, freeing from captivity these creatures who have been living underground for many, many years and procreating underground for many years. And the two sides clash. That's the main action. Because it's Laymon, he also throws in some evil characters who are on this boat. One in particular called Kyle. He's the teenage son of the owner of the hotel on the grounds of this tourist attraction. And he is really what the main thing that needs to be said about this book. So Kyle is a teenage boy. And if you know anything about Richard Laymon, you'll know what that means. It means he's horny as hell, impressionable as hell. He can't look at any vaguely attractive woman without instantly wanting to rape them. And his father is also evil, which is another Laymon trope. Evil tends to run in the family in Laymon's books. Indeed, his father's father was also profoundly evil. He's the reason why these creatures exist in a way. And there's a scene in this book where teenage Kyle is initiated by his father into the family tradition of raping and torturing and murdering women who check into the hotel and tossing them down a shaft into the caves, they think, to die and never be discovered. And that scene, I kind of just had to laugh reading it because the stuff Laymon comes up with is so nasty sometimes. And that's why I said I find it very odd that this was published under the name of Richard Kelly, presumably as a more personalized dedication to his daughter. Of all the books he's written, this would be the last one I would think he would want to have his daughter's name attached to it. But anyway, Kyle is, he's an awful little kid. And I do think there's going to be a little spoiler here. At the beginning of this book, the scene I've just described, he rapes, tortures this and throws her into the caves, a girl called Amy. And I thought that the ending Laymon was barreling towards here was that Amy had survived and she was down there, and that at the end she would be the one to come back and take revenge upon Kyle and kill him. And that's not what happened, and I do think that was a major missed opportunity. That would have been an awesome ending, and my rating for this film would have been a lot higher if that's what we would have got instead of the more predictable ending. The other two characters that need to be talked about is the main tour guide of Darcy. She's the young, beautiful woman, and at the very beginning of the book, she meets a guy on the boat called Greg. Obviously, because this is Richard Laymon, by the end of the ordeal, they've fallen in love with each other. I think it takes something like about 12 hours for that to happen. That always happens in Laymon's books. I find myself saying this every review, but people instantaneously fall in love in Laymon's books. And here it's even more unbelievable than usual, because I'm willing to accept that adversity can forge bonds and friendships, even relationships, but I don't think that, love could blossom so quickly in this environment. But it does. But Greg's a cool guy, and Darcy's a very nice, likable woman, so I wasn't bothered by that at all. Yeah, this is going to be a short review because there's honestly not a great deal more that needs to be said about this book. The synopsis does do a very good job of telling you what you're going to get. It's incredibly readable. I think I mentioned in my review of Resurrection Dreams that Laymon has a few books where he isn't all that concerned with creating a very rich, a very kind of peopled world. He just wants to tell a story at breakneck pace. He wants to describe constant action, which is not easy to do. This is his talent. In many ways, he's not the greatest writer in the world, but he does have some extraordinary talents, which better writers than him don't have. And one of them, the main one, is pacing and the ability to just make you turn a story, which, as cliched as it is, this is another very, very simple and cliched idea. It's been done many times before and since. But this is one of the few examples of that idea, which I was never bored by. It's another book that I read in one go. So it is recommended. It's not going to be at the top of my list when I do my final ranking of his novels, because it's just so quite thin, really, on story. It's not one that'll stay with you for a long time, but while you are reading it, you'll have a really good time with it. So that's all that needs to be said about this book, Midnight's Lair from 1988. Right at the beginning of what will go on to be his classic period. The writing, though, let me just say, it is well written for him. It's a well-controlled piece. He controls the pacing exceptionally well. He does a good job of we're not always just stuck underground with these characters, some of which are kind of obnoxious. He does do a good job of varying this limited setting that he's made for himself. We do spend a lot of time above ground, and we get to know some of the characters there. We get to know, like, Darcy's mother, who's worried about her, and some other relatives who are worried about their trapped loved ones. So I think he did that very well. This is an excellently paced book, and a well-structured and a well-organized little novel. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a little gem. Not great, not a masterpiece, but a nice book just to slip in your pocket and read it from start to finish on a lengthy plane ride just to pass the time. And let me just say again, I've been staring at it, but Steve Crisp really was the best cover artist in the game in the 1980s and early 90s. He was just such a evocative artist. He really got this style of writing, you know. So, all right, that's going to do it for this review. Midnight's Lair. So thank you very much for watching. If you did watch this far, I will be back very soon with part 14. Don't know what it will be yet, but we'll find out together. So take care, everybody, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.